Champ Contender Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Champ Contender Podcast. My name is Joseph J. Jones.
My name is Fabian Collymore.
We interview the champs and the contenders of this world from all different realms of reality, all the way from my little pub in my back garden. And today's guest is a very special guest. We have an athlete, 100 metre, 200 metre sprinter with us, and now coach to many a superstar. None other than Mark Findlay. How you doing, Mark?
Very well, mate. Nice for having me. Thank you.
No. Well, thanks for coming. For those who don't know you, Mark, tell us who you are and what you do.
Right, so my name's Mark Findlay. I was a athlete once upon a time, a little while ago. Competed for Great Britain. Went pro at 19, retired at 35. So it was pretty much a big chunk of my life. But yeah, loved every minute of it. Travelled the world, doing what I love, getting paid. And yeah, now I've moved on into coaching. So a bit of a performance coach, athletics development specialist. So work with a lot of different people from different sports, football, athletics, rugby, basketball. Train the odd actor, actresses, musicians, getting them ready for tours and stuff. But yeah, basically the track and field is what made me what I am today. Yeah.
Well, who started you in athletics then? How did you get influenced into that?
Do you know what it is? That's like, Fabian will tell you, like, you do your school stuff and you're just tearing everybody, innit? Like, no one at school can touch you. And then from there, it's like someone from somewhere will be like, oh, you should go down the local track and do some proper training. So at the time, it was same as Fabian. We used to actually train together down at Walthamstow. So the club was Walthamstow AC. I joined them about 11, trained twice a week. Then like Borough Sports, where you were at school, you're thinking, oh, I'm beating everyone at school. Gone Borough Sports, thinking, oh, it's the same as school. Got my ass whooped. I think I come second, but for me, that was getting my ass whooped. And then from there, I thought, nah, I want to do this all the time. So I started training more. The more I trained, like 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And then I didn't really look back from there, to be fair.
Wicked. So the fighting mentality, you always wanted to come first.
Mate, yeah. I'm a sore loser.
So who influenced you in the beginning of your career? Like when you started training and you was watching stuff online?
My hero was Linford, man.
Yeah. I think that was everyone's
hero. Like, and it's mad, like, the fact that later on in life, as for you, when you meet your heroes and they're that cool, it was hard for me to believe that he was that down to earth and that cool. And I ended up training with Linford for 3 years.
Amazing.
And like, so to end up like, that's someone who influenced you, got you into the sport, and then you end up kind of training with him, and then he's your pal, and it's, mental. But yeah, he was a massive inspiration. I basically modelled myself off of him.
Well, I mean, they say don't meet your heroes, don't they?
But
that's incredible. I've heard stories from you about Linford, like how humble he is.
Such a cool guy, man. So funny, bro.
Yeah.
So funny. All he does is crack joke and banter.
Oh, really?
Nothing else.
Well,
literally.
I mean, from a guy like Linford then, who's like, coaching you, you must have, not many people get to be coached by their heroes.
Very true.
So what was that like? Was it daunting, or was you just relishing it?
In the beginning, it was like, that's Linford. And that's when Linford was like Linford, ripped to everywhere. Like, looked like an absolute Adonis, God. Do you know what I mean? But then more you got to know him, and he was like a big brother. Yeah. Proper looked after you. Can come into when we used to go warm weather training, we'd always be in his apartment. He'd cook for us, all sorts. Like, just so cool, man. So cool. What a nice guy.
What was one of the biggest things that you've learned from him, like, during your career?
One of the biggest things I learned from Linford is just like the eliteness of how you approach the sport, in terms of your recovery, how you eat, how you sleep, and the intensity of training. Like, you give 100% no matter what's there. Like some days you're going to turn up and you're not at your best, but you give whatever you have on that day. So for me, it was like the main thing I'd say was his intensity of training was very high. So anytime I used to train, you know, you'd have days where you go in and you feel like absolute but mate, you're there, so crack on. Yeah. So the biggest thing with him was intensity, and then obviously being elite and how you approach everything. But yeah, he was hell of a guy, man.
Yeah. I mean, going to work, you have a cold and all that, and you have a day off, but it ain't the same, is it really? If you get ill, you got the flu, you got to act on it.
It's one of those ones, especially that kind of sport. It's like what you put in, what you get out, innit? Yeah. So if you don't put it in, come race day, it's on you, and it's on anyone else.
Yeah. What was your biggest moment in athletics? Like, what was the defining moment that made you go, right, I've arrived?
Oh, two moments really. Like, I mean, obviously going through all the age groups. So like European juniors, I medalled in the 200. I think I medalled in the European juniors 3 times, 2 relays, 1 over 200. European under 23 medalled in the relay. We broke the European record as well. But I think it's when you get and you start competing at senior level.
Yeah.
And you start medaling in national champs and considered one of the fastest in the countries, and you get selected for a global championship, that's when you can say, okay,
I'm good at this.
Yeah. Like it's great, like through the age groups, like, you know, going to all these championships and mixing it with the best of the world of your age. But to get to senior level and make champs and national champs, you're always in the final, you're fighting for medals. But I would say probably.
Wow. We got a ghost.
There's a ghost in here. Go on, mate. Sorry about that. There is actually a ghost in here. It's a weird thing. He chucks things about.
He don't like it because I'm a Tottenham fan. I'd probably say getting selected for the World Champs in Moscow 2006. Didn't go how I wanted to go. Literally got injured 2 days before, but I thought this is my first senior cap. I'm going to run on one leg, mate.
So you done it. Like, you was like, sod that. I'm going. Yeah.
And to be fair, consider I was injured. It was on one leg. I made the semi-final and didn't run too bad, but it was just frustrating that I probably got in the best shape of my life. I think I was ranked in the top 4 in Europe at that year. So I was on to at least make the final. And then to get injured, like literally the day before I left. So
I mean, how much of that happens? You know, I suppose the mind... Time. If it's like for me, if I go on stage, the amount of times I've been on stage, and they call it like you've got your stage voice, where it's like the medicine stage, you know, because whatever happens, the adrenaline kicks in, and you're able to sing your heart out. Yeah. But beforehand, you might as well be on the floor dying, and you can't. You know what I mean? You can't do it.
We've all been there.
Well, how much does that go on like for you guys? I mean,
mate,
a lot.
Injuries. It's. I think when you get to a certain kind of speed, especially in sprinting, you're like an F1 car.
Yeah.
So it's like any little small thing can just throw you.
Right.
So it's like, that's why looking after your body in terms of your recovery and treatment and your nutrition is so important, because you're actually quite fragile. You're strong, you're powerful, you're fast. But one thing not right, hamstring twinge, calf twinge, and then if you got that, you can't perform at your best.
Yeah. Well, I often think, like, with, say, the body anyway, like, are we meant to be running at these speeds naturally? You know, like the kilometre runners and stuff. Are we meant to be running those distances? Marathon runners and that. Like, what are you doing? You know, I know that's you guys have probably never seen a kilometre ever. But
they are insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's only since I've retired and I've started doing other things. Like, I'm running. I've started freaking doing high rocks, which is like the most brutal thing I've ever experienced in my life.
What?
It gives you an appreciation for these distance runners and just how quick they're moving for how long. It's insane.
Yeah.
They are insane. I always thought it's the sprinters.
Yeah,
We're the king of the track. But I'll be honest with you, since I retired, I've got a newfound appreciation for these distance boys. They're unbelievable.
Well, you're the rock stars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
It's the glamour event, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you tune in, you're like, oh, when's the sprinting? It's
Yeah.
like, no one's watching shot putters, are they? and getting let's face it. From obviously your time in athletics and that, like, who were the clowns that you mixed around with in like, who were the funny people? You got many a story about.
So many of them, mate. So many of them. So, like, who would I say was so, like, Dwayne Chambers, close friend of mine, absolute clown. Clown. Mark Lewis Francis, funny guy.
I told you say.
Really. I think with Mark, it was like, he was just quick, mate. Like, he was just a God-given talent. God put him on the earth and said, boom, you're going to run, mate.
Right.
So it's like, it's only later on in his career he realised, like, I'm actually world-class at this. Before that, he was just your average guy. He'd train like 3 times a week, but then he'd go and win national championships and run like 10-0. It was weird. But as a fella, I think because he had that approach, he didn't take too seriously.
Yeah.
Like, everything was just a joke. Like, a big kid that will go and run against the best in the world. But he was just a kid from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Like, literally a kid.
Wow.
But cool guy. Very, very funny dude. But you had so many. Like, another fella from Liverpool named Alan Condon.
Oh.
I think he was, I think he medalled at European Championships. I think he went to Sydney Olympics, maybe for part of the relay squad. Now, that fella there, mate, I think the Scouser banter is like, obviously we're London boys, isn't it? So that banter is completely different. He would do mad like, you'd be on the line in a national final, on your marks, everyone goes down. This little will go spit in your lane right in front of you. To him, that's banter. And but this is a national final, fella. Like,
wow.
Do you know what I mean? So it's if you know him, you know what it's about. But his things is all tactics of like, how can I throw you off of your game?
Yeah.
But he's just mad.
Wow.
Mad, but really cool guy, funny as hell, man. There's so many clowns in the sport. It's unbelievable.
You say that, like, who was the one guy that you saw on the starting line or you saw on the start list? You know where you get the start list before the race and you think, oh, not him. I don't want to have him.
Depends. Are you talking like nationally?
Under 20s, under 23s, going up.
Dwayne, bro.
All the way.
No, I don't want to race him. It's long. Yeah. He was an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah.
At 17, I'd probably say 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
He looked how he looked when he was like, when he got to like 30.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thoroughbred, mate. And you just knew, like, no matter what shape I'm in, I'm not beating this. So it's like, just don't put me next to him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it can be competitive for a while, but once he gets going, forget about it. He was an absolute... I mean, I was there, where was we? We was in Ljubljana, Slovenia for the European Juniors when he broke the European Junior record.
Yeah.
A long time ago. But it was a record that stood for ages. And I think I was racing maybe 2 days later. And to see it live,
wow,
unreal.
Really?
Unreal. He ran 10.06. I think Christian Malcolm was second, good friend of mine as well, and like 10.2. So he beat second place by like 2.5 meters. But he was just destined to always run ridiculously fast.
Well, on that then, like, how much of it can you learn and how much of it is natural? I mean, with the ability and stuff, like, I mean, I guess there's techniques where the way you tread, I don't know nothing about running. Look at me, you know what I mean? But the treading of the foot, the way your heels angled, you know, the toes, whatever, you know, I suppose if you add that to natural ability.
Yeah, sprinters are very technical. So say sprint, anyone can run, not everyone can sprint.
Right.
They're two different things. Yeah. Like, sprinting is very technical. But yeah, you got to have a God-given talent. Like anyone can get quicker with training. It doesn't mean, someone who can run 12 seconds, you can maybe get them quicker and they can run 11.5 or 11.4. But you've got to have some God-given talent and then work on that talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very technical event. People don't think it is. From the outside, it might not look as it, but it is very technical.
Well, you don't get those times for nothing, do you?
No. So and the thing is with track as well, you train way longer than you compete. So you train some people might start their winter training end of September, October. If you don't do the indoor season, you're not competing until April, May. And then you're running from May to end of August, September. And then you're back in training again.
Wow.
So you spend a lot of time training. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change it, mate. It's been such a massive part of my life. It's crazy. If
he was competing today,
getting smoked by everyone. As things evolve, mate, I'm actually glad I was probably in the area I was.
Yeah. Even with the technology that they have now, and you had the knowledge that you've got now, how do you think you would compete?
I mean, when you look at back of it, and obviously as I've got older, there's certain things you could look back. I could have done things that way, done things this way, and definitely could have run faster.
Yeah.
Especially with what they got at their disposal now. But the sport's moved on, man.
Yeah.
Like massively.
Yeah.
Like massively. So yeah, I'd rather just watch them on telly. I'll be honest.
What was your favourite training session? Well, not favourite training session. What was the session that you think none of my clients could do this?
Mate, I could name flipping how many.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't think any of my clients could have done like some of the real hot sessions. They just, you got to be built a certain way.
Yeah.
Gosh, a very horrible session. It's called 990s. So you do 990s, you do 390s, and I think you only get 3 minutes in between. Then you get 6 minutes. You do another 3 off of 3 minutes, 6 minutes, another 3. But these are like breakneck speed. Like we're not chilling.
Yeah. You're
running as fast as you can. At the end of the session, mate, there's carnage. Carnage on the track. I remember I'd done that session in Claremont, Florida. I was on the track after for probably about half an hour. And literally, like, spikes are off, laying flat, vomit there. I'm not moving. I'm literally just lying next to my vomit.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, get up half an hour, clearing up the track, go home, eat, have a sleep, get the next day and we train hard again. It's mad.
Do you level up through that though? Like
that builds mad. That builds character, robustness, mental. But yeah, if you get through it unscathed through injury, and I think I see big improvements with that.
Yeah. Well, going back to what we say about natural ability and working hard to get like those natural ability guys, what would you say you were? Because I mean, it sounds like you put a lot of work into what you done.
Do you know what? I always used to say, like, I wasn't like child prodigy kind of talent.
Right.
I had a talent, but I was one of these guys that had to work really hard to be where I was. Like, I couldn't rest on any morals. Talent only takes you so far. So my thing was like work ethic and like being a student of my sport. I still think I could have done a lot better than I actually did, but the effort that I did put in, I'm proud of what I done.
Yeah.
And get to where I got off of just sheer flipping hard work, mate. Sheer hard work.
Yeah. What was the pearls of wisdom, so to speak, that Linford might have given to you? Was there ever a specific moment where you thought, wow, I'm taking that with me?
So many, man. just like maybe like race day. I mean, Linford was a very as jokey and bantery as he was. Come race day, can't talk to him, mate. Like, and I was very much like that. You know, you'd have people in the warm-up area there laughing and joking. I just couldn't do that. I was very much like headphones in, don't chat to me. Just let me crack on with what I got to do. Like, just focus. And it wasn't like burning nervous energy. I weren't like running around growling or nothing like that. I was just quiet and focused. And that was just my way. And that come from him.
Right.
Obviously, seeing him like that as a youngster and then being around him and seeing it live and training with him, I just adopted the same approach.
Yeah.
And I think that worked for me. You only need to, you know, like even your aggression and I never used to burn up nervous energy before. It's when that man says on your marks, that's when you get amped. Before that, just stay relaxed. So some people, them being relaxed, he's chatting and banter and laughing. Yeah. Mine was just, I don't want to waste energy cracking jokes with you. I'ma just chill, sit in my corner, headphones in, relax. Do you know what I mean? And then when his tracksuit's off and on your marks, then that's when all the aggression comes out. Then. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably the biggest thing I took from Linford, for sure.
So you see, like, people like Noel Lyles. What's your opinion? What's your thoughts on him?
He couldn't have survived in our day.
You don't think so?
If Noel Lyles was to race against Linford would have got chucked off the track. It would probably killed him. Yeah. Like, and that's what I mean. The sport's changed so much. When Bolt came around, he brought that, you know, bit more relaxed and bantery and on you know, if you look in the 90s, early 2000s, and you look on the start line, everyone is serious. No one's not. Where now everyone wants to have a little wave. You got man jumping up and down. It's very different. Very different. But you know, listen, I feel like with track and field, characters are good for the sport. So I rate him. Like, do what you're doing, and it's hard to knock it because you're winning. Yeah, you're being like that, and you're jumping around, but you're winning. So keep doing what you're doing, man. No one can't knock it. Love him or hate him. Yeah,
I bet a lot of it's to do with socials. Do you know what I mean?
That's changed everything. Everything. I mean,
the clans out.
Back in our days, there was no such thing. So and I think that's changed a lot. Do you know what I mean? So you can, you know, up your following and on your socials just from being a little bit different. I think the way this generation is just very different to what we was. I love to see it, but it's just very different.
Yeah.
So who would have been that character like Noel Lyles back then if there was social media? Who do you think that would have been?
Mate.
Because there is some personalities in track and field.
That's a very good question. In sprinting, wowzers. That is a very good question. See, we're talking what? Pre-Bolt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Who can I say? It was. I really don't know.
I think
that gas fella sounded a bit.
I think the closest to it was Maurice Green with the. You remember when he done the shoe thing and he was spraying the shoe?
Yeah. So that whole clique, HSI.
Yeah.
Handling speed intelligently, was one of the probably top training group in the world at the time. So their thing was very brash and in your face, and they would that's a very good call. Yeah, very good call.
Other than that, I don't know.
Nah. That race at Home Depot in somewhere in America, Home Depot meet, where I think he ran like 987. He took off his spikes and he got a fire extinguisher and went shh, like to say his spikes were so hot. That could fit in with today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he was doing that when that was like, people were like, what the hell? That was completely
So it was seen as shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's that shocking now, is it? Really?
Nah, anything goes, really. Yeah. Like, back then.
Run naked or whatever. It wouldn't matter, would it? Like, they just do what they like. But I don't know. What do you make of the old Michael Johnson thing? Do you think he's going to compete with the Diamond Leagues and things like that?
I think he will. I think it's good for the sport. gives people options. Obviously, paying good money, better money than the Diamond League, which has made the Diamond League now up their game. And now they're doing a few things that are offering more prize money as well. So I think it's a great thing. I think there is it Serena Williams and her husband have got a all-female meet they're doing as well. Prize money is massive as well.
What, to do with track and field?
Yeah, it's all track and field, but it's only women.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So between that, Michael Johnson, there's different avenues for these athletes to go and make more money than they would on the Diamond League. And I'm all for it, mate.
So what does that do for the Diamond League? Are the American athletes and the Jamaican athletes and the Caribbean athletes to stay over there and not come into Europe for the Diamond League?
I'm not sure. I think you can sign with them, but I think you can. I'm sure you can. I'm not sure if you can still run the Diamond League if you sign over there. I'm not sure. But I think Johnson's meets, you got 4 or 5 meets for the year. But those 4 or 5 meets, if you win, you're going to make more money if you ran God knows how many Diamond Leagues. So it's worth it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm because it's the first year, I'm interested to see how it works and who's where, and are they going to stay over that side and not come into Europe, or it'll be very interesting to see. But I'm all for it, mate, because track and field's a hard sport and you need to make what you can out of it.
Yeah. So it's not like like all the football fans up in arms with like that Super Champions League and things like that. Nah. It's actually I suppose it's regarded well because, I mean, is there enough for athletics? Do you know what I mean? Like, I suppose the more the merrier, and the more that an athlete can make more money.
Yeah,
good 100%, to them.
100%. And they're just trying to grow the sport. Like, the sport's always needed. It's always like, people say, track and field. When Bolt retired, track and field's dead.
Right.
Like, is it going to die? So these things coming in can only lift up the sport. So I'm all for it, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing it. To be fair,
yeah, same, man.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks really good.
Well, look, we've talked a lot about athletics. I didn't realise till you told me today you actually done white collar boxing and things like that as well. Right?
Yeah, mate. Do you know what it is? Because track and field's an individual sport.
Yeah.
I retired at 35. And so then I come out, I just concentrate on work for a couple of years, just went in the gym, just thought, do you know what, I can just be a normal gym bod. That was boring. So then I actually went back and done Masters Athletics. So this is like, at the time, so it's Masters starts from over 35. So I went back and done that. So literally, but I treated it like a boxing camp. So I would do a 12-week training block and then go straight to the championships.
Wow.
So I went to, I think it was 2016. I entered the European Masters in Ancona in Italy. And I ended up winning that. Thinking a European best for that age as well.
Nice. But
then after that, it was like, because I was working at the same time as well, and I'm very much, if I'm going to do something, I do it properly. And I couldn't devote, you know what it's like to train, mate. Just you warm up alone in track and field like over an hour.
Yeah.
Then you got your session, then you're in the gym. I can't take 3.5 hours out of my working day to train.
No.
So that being said, I was like, a pal of mine approached me and was like, oh, we're going to do this charity. He's got a foundation. We're going to do a charity boxing match to raise money for a foundation. About 6 of us. Do you want to jump in? I was like, keep coming in. Give it a go. So I ended up doing a 12-week camp for that.
Yeah.
And then during the camp, I proper fell in love with boxing. And to the point I was questioning, if you found boxing when you was like 15, 16, would you have run? That's how much I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found boxing at 39.
Wow.
And
never too old.
Never too old, mate. So I done that bout. Round 1 KO.
Yeah.
And then that was it. I was like, yeah, I'm going again.
Nice.
So then I done another one, got a majority decision. Then I didn't box again for a few years. And then I actually boxed My last one was not December just gone, December before that. I've done so that the first two were white collars, headgear, everything. Yeah. But then I done an unlicensed, no headgear, no top. And won that as well. That was a buzz though.
Yeah.
But then you got to a phase and said, you know what, I'm getting too old to be getting. It's not the fight.
Yeah.
The fight's fine. It's the preparation, the sparring. Like getting up at 5 a.m. to get, and because of who I was coached by, Boy Jones Jr. and his camp down at Essex Fight Academy, they're not gonna, if we're preparing for a bout, they're not gonna make me spar people I can beat up.
Yeah.
They're gonna make me spar people that are better than me that I can learn from.
Yeah.
But in boxing, learning that way, it's tough.
It's the deep end. They put you in the deep end.
They throw you in the deep end, mate.
My dad was an ABA fighter,
Yeah.
and he got to 5 finals, and he had a mental thing in his head and could never get there. And then, like the week later, he would beat that person because they were just, the league started again. Do you know what I mean? It was like that. And I remember my dad, he brought me and my brother up on boxing. This sounds like a repetitive thing I say on this podcast, but I always used a boxing mentality, but within music. And my dad took me to Hornchurch and Elm Park amateur boxing gym, where a lot of, great people come out of that gym. And I remember going in the ring, and I was a big lad. I've always been tall, and I was big at 11. And they put me in the ring with this 14-year-old, and he was like, honestly, I think he was like an Irish champion or something, and he was coming down like vetting. It was like, you could tell they just pointed at me. I was just like, he's big enough.
You jump in.
My dad's standing there watching, and my dad's like looking at him going, what are you doing to my boy?
Yeah.
And I just take getting hit, and my dad was a bit like, well, we found out you can take a punch. But it was so bad because you were used, like you say, you learn from someone who's better than you.
100%.
But I'm talking, that was like gold medalist to someone.
You got stitched up, mate.
Oh, mate, well and truly. But do you know what? It was like after that, I was like, right, let's get good. And my dad really trained us, and like proper, even to this day. I've been jumped a few times, and I never go down. I know my stance. And I'll know what to do. Get out of that. But I'm forever thankful to him. But I'm interested. I've spoken to many an athlete that ventures into boxing, and I think it's because, you guys are the fittest guys going. If you are fit, I always think I was never fit, but I could throw a punch.
No.
But like, if you're fit before and then you know how to throw a punch, it's a winning game. Like, why do you think so many go into it?
Do you know, I think I always used to say, like, because I come from an individual sport, even though I retired, that competitive edge doesn't go. Yeah. But then you see, I know a lot of footballers that finish and then end up doing a bit of boxing. I don't know whether but they're coming from team sport. I just think it's if you come from a professional sport but you still want to carry on and do something competitive, what other sport? Do you know what I mean? If you're a footballer and you retire from football, but you still want to be active and you still want to put your time into something, what else are you going to do? Like, I think it's quite a natural transition. Everybody likes doing pads, and I think it starts there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
You go, let me do a bit of pads to keep fit, and then you end up falling in love with it. Then I'll do a bit of body sparring. Next thing you know, you're full sparring. And then that's the point where it's like, this shit ain't for me, or I love this. And then once you're in, you're in. It sucks you in, mate.
It never leaves you, does it? Never leaves you.
I still do pads every now and again now. I won't fight again. I think that was my last one. People keep persuading me to jump in again, but
wouldn't you do like misfit boxing?
Yeah, give me a paycheck.
If someone called you out, or you could call someone out.
Someone called me, and the money's right, 100%.
100%.
I remember sparring. I sparred when KSI fought I think it might have been his first fight. I can't remember who he was fighting, but I think it was one of KSI's first ever fights. I helped him prepare for that, so I sparred him.
Right.
That's when he was first starting. But I sparred in I think it was Stratford gym box, but it was a octagon, not a ring. It was the thing was huge. He was just running around. But I said, mate, I'm not right here to run around. Just stand there and let's have it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, I do love boxing, man. Yeah. I really do love it, but I'm getting too old for it now, mate.
Yeah, well, I don't know, though. You got KSI.
Unless KSI watching, mate, put me on Misfits and money right, I'll come out. But other than that, nah, I'm done.
Go and knock him out. What he said to Wayne Bridge the other day, I was like, mate.
That was on the floor, tassery. That was.
Yeah.
That was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible, mate.
That was so bad.
He pulled out of it now, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's pulled out. Yeah. I mean, we're time-stamping these, which I always say try not to, you know. But I mean, you can't help it. What's going on, and you talk about it. I mean, that was just like, what you doing, mate? Like,
that was cringe TV. That was
exactly what you texted me.
Cringe TV.
Cringe TV.
Yeah, like literally. Bottom of the barrel, that is.
Mate, I'll go in the ring with your KSI.
Yeah, 100%. Like, to be fair to him, in my head, I said, Wayne, just slap him, something, something. Like,
he deserves it.
That's just everyone I spoke to. Like, I work with a lot of footballers. All the footballers are like, mate, I can't believe he said that.
But let's face it, he's going in the ring with a Looney Tune. You know what I mean? He's that whole thing. Listen, if you fight. I've got a newfound respect for it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Right? Because these YouTubers that do it, right, you have got to train for that and you've got to fight. And I was a bit against it at first, but we've met numerous people that go on the show and, the stage that is Misfits. And it's like, they put their body through it and they fight. And I get it, you are training for a fight. But, you know, there is this Looney Tune aspect to it where it's like, you know, what have I got on him and what's he got on me?
And it's WWE-ish, isn't it?
Sandbags and clapbacks, and it's just
it's a bit WWE-ish. It's like the new wrestling. That's like, apart from like people actually getting hurt, like proper boxing, but the whole what goes along with it is it's a bit WWE-ish.
Yeah.
But some of the fights are great fights. I watch them. Do you know what I mean? I do watch them.
Yeah.
Because I love boxing. So I'm not against it. It's just some of it can be a bit cringy, but not all of it, but some of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So you see your experience in athletics.
Yeah.
Do you think that's helped you in your coaching style and techniques
100%.
in coaching your athletes?
100%. I feel like a friend of mine, even today, James Ellerton, he put a post up saying, track and field is one of the best sports, hands down, in terms of developing speed, strength, power, explosiveness. Because especially as a sprinter, they're the main factors that you work on.
Yeah.
So then taking that 20 plus years of knowledge of trying to, how can I get the best of those elements?
Yeah.
And then translating that into specifics of somebody's sport. So the way I coach, my framework is like track and field in terms of your speed, your strength, your explosiveness, your fitness. And then I just translate that into the specifics of someone's sport. So if it's a football, okay, we do all of those things, but then we work on lateral movement, we work on accelerating, decelerating, agility. But the framework is like track and field. And I find that had massive success with sticking with that way of training, because I think, especially with track and field, like we do all of this for very minute gains, where you give someone who's not exposed to that kind of trainer, their gains are not minute, their gains are humongous. So then people be like that. And, you know, in the beginning, working with guys that are not been exposed to that kind of training and they get these massive gains, they'll turn around and say, he's a guru. No, I'm not a guru. You've just never been exposed to this kind of training where, you know, you're talking over 10 years ago I started doing that, where now you see more and more performance coaches are training and adopting this kind of approach because it gets the best results.
Well, you work with, you know, quite a few well-known names. Like, I mean, there's footballers like Chalobah and things like that. I mean, do you add what do you add to their game in that? Like, is there like, you know, do you add their speed and agility on the pitch as well as that?
Yeah. So for someone like a Trevor, it's like I'm working on your athletic development. So he would come in on pre-season and we'd spend maybe a month plus. Yeah. And my job is, how fit can I get you? How explosive? How much stronger can I get you? Can we work on your acceleration, deceleration, all these things, so that, you know, especially as a footballer, that's the longest time they really have uninterrupted to work on themselves. So I make the most of it. You know, during the season, you know, they got 2 games a week. There's only so much you can do in the season that can really benefit you. But that pre-season period, you got a 5-week period when you can really make massive changes. So it's just your all-round athletic development with these guys.
So a lot of them do like pre-season, don't they?
Oh yeah. So most of these guys will come in and do 4 weeks with me, and then go to their club and do their pre-season. Wow. Where before, old school was like, you go Ibiza, you live it up like a complete. I remember a story. One of your boys.
Yeah.
I remember a story. What's his name? James Collins.
Yeah. Mate.
He went Ibiza for the entire pre-season break. He come back the day before pre-season.
Wow.
That's when he started training.
Jesus.
Obviously.
Wow.
But where the game's changed now, these guys have maybe a week, go on holiday, whatever, and then they're in. So my job with my ballers over pre-season is like, my job is to send you into pre-season looking the sharpest, the fittest, looking the sharpest. So then you're in the manager's eye, especially a lot of the younger boys, the first year pros, scholars, whatever. That's my job, to send you there so you're sharper than everyone, you're fitter than everyone. Now straight away you're in the manager's eye. So our pre-season comes in, maybe you haven't played a first team game, but because you're training with the first team and you're sharper than bloody everybody else, manager's going to say, I'm going to give him a try in a game. Now, I've put you in that position. Now it's up to you to grab that opportunity with both hands. But my job is to put you in that situation through pre-season. Yeah. And it's, you know, like I said, I've been doing that 10 years plus now.
He must have done so well because he got man of the match the other night, didn't he?
Mate, I was so chuffed for him.
Oh yeah, mate. I mean, it's been a back and forth journey for him, isn't it?
Mate, I mean, won't go into it, but I don't know what Chelsea were doing. For him to be at that club since 9, and then trying to push him out like that. And then, you know, but cream rises to the top, innit? They ended up needing him back.
Exactly, man.
And first game back, man of the match.
Well, no, I'll state it, Trevor. If you want to come to West Ham, mate, we've been looking at him for a while, though. We're always linked with him. And I know. Listen, it's his club, innit? Chelsea. With Chelsea, like, are you contracted in a way?
I'm a complete freelancer.
Right.
So I've been approached by clubs to do work, but I don't want to limit myself. I want to be able to work with as many players as I can and as I want. So I completely freelance. So I think you find a lot of players now, more and more, of taking it upon themselves to find people outside the club that can help with what they want to work on. So for instance, you know, if you're a player, you go to the sports science department and say, I really need to work on my speed. Unfortunately, they're probably not going to help you with that because they're so worried about, if something happens, I've lost my job here. So then, you know, they might identify that, you need to get quicker, but they're not going to actually give you the sessions or take you through speed sessions. So then what players do, they're like, well, I'm going to go and source somebody that can help me. And they take it upon themselves. They pay the person individually away from the club and they get on with what they got to do.
Does that worry you though? Like the injury aspect of it? I know it happens in sports.
It happens, but you know, I mean, luckily enough, I mean, because of the background and because especially, you know, the stuff that we went through as athletes, hamstrings and all, you know how to, one, if we're accelerating kind of thing, I'm not going to make them accelerate too far because one, they don't need to be, accelerating and sprinting over 100 meters. They're never going to run the length of a flipping pitch. But I'd make them accelerate only to a point where the hamstrings are not really going to kick in. So 30, 40 meters, we don't even need to go that far because that's a risk of once you get up into full flight running, there's a chance. So there's other ways to combat it. And I think the style that I've had is that I can get great results from the training without risking injury. Which is, touch wood. And I ain't had no problems in 10 years from it.
Well, how does it sort of work, someone who's not athletic and, you work with musicians? Oh, mate, don't even do it. Like, I'm a sign for Greg's pin-up. But how does it work, say, like, I'm a musician, I want to get fit. How does that training differ for someone, say, obviously Kano,
Yeah, so with those guys, it's a lot different. So obviously with the ballers, it's more athletic development, performance training. With an artist, for instance, it's more how fit can we get you, especially when, if Kano's getting ready for a tour, we need him super fit so he can do his entire album without getting out of breath. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was the initial objective. But then what happens is with a lot of these guys, it then becomes, once they get into training, it then almost becomes a lifestyle. So then, okay, the gig, your tour's finished now, but you're still training because now it's like, oh, this is part of my life. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I've got to work out 3 times a week minimum. So then, I've been training Kane now for over 6 years. Wow. So you might go a month or two, he's in another country or he's doing his album or whatever, but then he'll be back and we'll do another stint for like 3-4 months. But for him now, especially, it's a lifestyle. So it's a mixture of, does a lot of boxing. He loves boxing. Does a lot of boxing. I
see him on the pads, actually. He looks all right.
Slick, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's worked hard. He's been doing it for quite a number of years. So between myself and a guy that taught me how to box, Ben Jones, Boy Jones Jr., he does a lot of pads with him, does pads with me. And between the both of us, like, he's quite nifty. So when I throw things up on the socials, everyone's like, yeah, what is he going on, Misfits? He's gonna fight. Kane's not interested in none of that, mate, at all. He just he's a proper connoisseur of boxing. He knows his boxing. Yeah. We've gone to loads of fights together and that. He's a proper boxing fan. So him doing pads and being into boxing is just for him. Just another way of getting fit, and he's interested in learning how to box properly. Yeah. So but yeah, it's for people like that, it's, like I said, it's become a lifestyle. So it's away from performance training. It's more keeping you fit. Can we get you stronger? Yeah. Can you look aesthetically a little bit different? So it's a little bit, it's very different compared to what I do for the sports people. Yeah, I mean, if he did go into Misfits, he could have night on the back of his truck. That'd be quality. If I ever get into it and want to do it, I'll mate, I am, mate, give me a bell. yeah, definitely.
Out of all your clients, who surprised you the most? Like, fitness-wise? Fitness-wise? Do you know who's quite fit, Wretch? Yeah. Really? Okay. Yeah, quite fit. Yeah. I think he played a lot of football. As a youngster. He's one of them guys, like, they'd always, I think it might be a Thursday night or something, they're always on the 5-a-side. Like, he's actually quite fit. Yeah. Yeah. So when I first started training him, I was surprised, like some of the running sessions, how fit he was. Okay. So yeah, he surprised me. And overall, who surprised you the most? Like, as in strength, fitness, speed, boxing, just a bit of everything. Who surprised you? Right up. Look at him. Do you know what? It's hard to say who surprised me. I feel overall, I'd say Kane, but I wouldn't say he surprised me. But that's come through
hard work. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. When he first come to me, I think he was like 70 kilos. Now he's walking around at like 80 kilos, 10 kilo increase. He's fitter, he's stronger. So like, but that's come over time. So if I say I'm surprised how long he's kept it up. In terms of like, it's now a lifestyle for him. Do you know what I mean? So that probably surprised me. You know, some of these people come in thinking, right, I'm just going to get them ready for this gig and then they'll be gone. He just never left.
Well, that's the fittest I've ever been, is when I went on tour. Like, I'd go on tour, like I go to Germany for like a couple of months. Yeah. And, you know, I'm a smoker. You know, and I've stopped smoking now. And I feel immediately more awake and stuff. But before then, I would still smoke, I would still drink, go out on the lash. But if I knew I was on tour, none of it.
And you feel the benefit.
Well, and I never understood, because I want my voice to be like Pavarotti, right? So why would I ruin my
100%
moment? Or, you know, this is a muscle. I have to look after it. I have to warm it up. I have to be clean with it. You know, I'd have maybe like a one beer after. I'd have a Guinness after. That's what I would have. I would always have a Guinness, cream in it and all that, just line the throat. But it's the fittest I would ever be, and it's always, I find it weird, like rock stars just get absolutely hammered. Like, how'd you do it? You can't do it. Talk about getting hammered. We've got a little game. I don't know if you drink, and I've not offered you a drink. Would you like a drink?
I have one.
Yeah. What do you want? Do you want a beer, or do you want
training? What's
Well, look, we're gonna do a game.
What's that? Kraken. I'll have a Kraken.
Kraken, yeah. Would you want a Coke and Kraken, or?
Yeah, I'll have a little one. Shouldn't, but you know.
Oh well.
What were you in camp for? You're doing the High Drops at the moment?
I got High Rocks March 22nd in Malaga.
Wow. Oh, you're travelling for it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'm in week 4 preparation. Just started week 4. I've got 8 more weeks.
Yeah. You know, I've never done it yet.
Bro, it's brutal, bro.
I see everyone's doing it at the moment. I see it on the gram and I'm like,
brutal, bro. Especially coming from a sprinter to now 1K repetitions. Like, bruv, the other day, Sunday, so imagine I run for 47 minutes straight.
Just on the treadmill, just going?
Just on the treadmill. When I got off, I was like, I can't believe that this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Do you remember like 5 Mile Run?
Yeah.
John Skeet?
Yeah.
That's the last time I've run that kind of distance, and you're talking 20-something years ago.
Yeah. Well, we ran a 5K or 10K?
Oh, 10K, mate.
10K.
I don't know why you've done with me.
3 or 4 months ago. And
cheers, buddy. Nice one.
The time that I ran, I was like, oh, this is good. And then I looked up on stats and I thought, it's not good. It's not good.
Mate, I'm struggling. I've got a 10. Well, I've got 2. What got tomorrow? 2 times 4K.
Yeah.
With 2 minutes in between. But when I think of these sessions, I'm like, as an athlete back then, you'd be like, absolutely no
way. Because remember I told you, I was like,
absolutely no way. So when I look at myself now and the sessions that I'm doing, I'm like, wow.
It wouldn't have helped us back then, though. Anyway.
No, definitely not. Yeah. But it's like you would never even entertain some of the stuff I'm doing now. Yeah. But do you know what? I proper enjoy it, and I think it's like, because I'm now doing something that's so far out my comfort zone, like being a sprinter now, having to pretty much middle distance run. It's like the challenge of, I'm not good at this, but I'm gonna get good at it. Do you know what I mean? That's what's got me in it. Again, even at my age, the competitiveness is still there, but it's different because it's me against me. So I'm not. So now it's not against really anybody else.
Yeah,
I'm in competition with myself.
I always put like what my dad put into boxing into us, but in artistic things, like in singing and even in this podcast. Because it's like, you know, there's a whole creative process where we film it all, we cut it all up, we take the audio, I have to comp the audio, I have to make it sound crisp and clear. 100%. And it's now become like, I mean, we do one, we're like, right, let's go, man. We just get on it, you know, and we just do it. But you know, you approach things like that. We got a game.
Go on then.
Shot stopper.
Oh, God.
So the idea of the game, shots are involved, and it ain't about goalkeepers. So I put 2 names up against one another. So I always say this. For example, I will put Muhammad Ali up against Joe Frazier. You pick one, right? So let's say Muhammad Ali. if you put then Muhammad Ali up against Mike Tyson,
Right.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's fuck.
But look, we ain't going to go mean. We ain't going to mean. We do like a little thimble
Good.
of whatever. So you start with us, Fabe.
Okay, we'll go Trevor Chalobah or Nathaniel Chalobah.
You.
I told you this was
This was his idea, by the way.
Yeah, I know it was. Do you know what? Right now, I think Nate could probably agree with me. I have to say Trevor right now.
Okay. Why is that?
One is, I mean, Nate's a little bit older than him. Nate's Sheffield Wednesday at the moment. But obviously, Trevor's playing at a higher level and just off of basically what he's been through and like that kind of comeback last night.
Yeah,
mate,
yeah.
I got to give it to Trevor, man.
Wicked. All right. So,
Almost got me there, you
right. Trevor or Ellis Stewart?
Trevor.
Okay. Trevor or Ben Jones?
Trevor.
Okay. Trevor or Dan Scarlett?
Ooh. I love Dane. Great kid. But Trevor. Yeah.
All right. Trevor or Elijah Dixon?
Elijah's work ethic is unbelievable. Been coaching him for about 4 years now. Like, very much student of the game. Needs a bit of a break. But just all-round player. Physical gift, Trevor.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So, Trevor or Nicky Slimting?
Slim. Slim I've known for a long time, man. I consider him family. So this is who I enjoy training the most.
It's your preference.
Just my preference.
So just for the audience listening as well, we always say a subtitle, and we didn't say it because we didn't want to give it away, but your subtitle is obviously clients. So
we stitched you up here, haven't we?
Yeah, you proper out. Slim or Trevor. Do you know what? I probably see Slim more consistently, but I enjoy training Trevor more, so I'm gonna say Trevor.
wow.
Trevor or Manny Norte?
Manny Norte, man, that's my guy. Yeah, that's my dude. Like, yeah, I've been training Manny again for like 6-7 years,
Okay.
and sometimes he'll disappear for a bit, but when he comes back, he's all in, man. All in, 4 days a week. Put him on a nutrition plan, gives 100% effort, travels all the way from flipping West London to where I am in Cuffley. It's like an hour, 45-minute journey, but he'll make it 4 times a week to train.
Wow.
That kind of dedication, mate.
He trains hard though. From when I see him, he looks like he's sweating.
Yeah, he goes
hard.
in, bro.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think his problem is he lets himself get out of shape, but then he has to start all over again. So, but yeah, no, Manny's my dude. I'll say
Okay,
Manny,
okay.
definitely.
So Manny Norte or Kano?
And I'm thinking, these are going to be watching this.
That's the whole reason.
Oh, is it shot though? Is it a shot?
Man, yeah, give me a shot.
Oh, do you know what?
Give me a
That is
shot.
fitting as well.
And it's fitting as well. Look at that.
Look at that, man. Duppy White.
Yeah.
I'll give you, if you didn't know, this is
like
Kano's, man. So we're representing
Big up
Kano.
Duppy White.
I
Yeah,
love
no,
Kano.
they're both my family, man, and they're probably 2 of my longest serving clients. So I've had them both similar amount of time. And
I won't be mean. I
love
won't
them
be
both.
mean.
Thank you very much,
All right.
Kane. Cheers, buddy.
First shot.
Okay.
So nice.
It's nice though, isn't it?
So nice.
It's like a sweet.
Yeah, it's
like,
smooth.
Yeah.
Super smooth.
I look forward to that Saturday, Kano.
Mate.
So, you know what I mean? You've got to come down the pub, mate.
All right, where are we going? We can start off Wretch and Bashi.
Rich free too.
Damn, you really thought of these, isn't it?
We do the research.
Oh, give us another one. No chance, man. They're both like, yeah. Bashi's my dude, man.
Yeah. He's a hard worker as well.
Yeah.
Talented.
Bashi's my dude.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of love for Wretch as well. Right. I'm getting everything right
Both of them
after
are
this.
talented. You're getting everything right after this?
Everything right after
100%.
Oh, I'm not having another one.
All right. Let me do this one.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Jeanette Kwachi or Colin Kazim Richards?
Oh.
You're getting it right.
Colin, no, I'm getting it right. Colin is like what started off as just training him to get another club. We trained him and he ended up going to Feyenoord, and then we just trained continuously ever since. But Jeanette I've known since, I think Jeanette might have been like 13. And I can honestly call her my sister. I call Colin my brother as well. Colin's my little brother. But I think this is surely off because I've known Jeanette longer. Jeanette Kwachi. That's my sis.
Okay, so last one. Jeanette Kwachi or Andy Cole?
Now, this goes back to when you were saying, when you end up training your heroes. So Andy Cole, when I was growing up, was like king. Like I still call him king now, King Cole. So to end up having to train him was, the first few weeks was just so surreal. Like, this is Andy Cole. Like, dude, I'm looking at people, I'm like, do you know who this is? This is King Cole. I love you, Coley, but Kwachi's my sister. Jeanette, I love her.
That's lovely.
Look at that.
That's lovely.
That's nice. That's nice.
That's a sick game, that is. You're going to stitch up a lot of people in that kind of games.
I feel too evil doing the old head-to-head bit at the end there. Like, we'll leave that. We won't put you up against Kano and Kwachi and all that. We'll leave it there. No, you've done well there.
That's a sick game, actually. I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Stitch up.
What are your... I'm so glad, though. At that point with Kano, it's just like, oh, how fitting. There you go.
Yeah, he's going to love that.
So what are your top 3 go-to exercises? If you were to say to someone even like me or to someone who is an athlete, what do you start with your top 3 exercises?
Yeah, again, it depends who it is. So, like, I'd say, like, for a footballer, you gotta do your conditioning and fitness runs. That's part and parcel. And I'd say for a footballer again, accelerating. Can I get 4?
Yeah, go on. Go for it.
Then obviously your acceleration, decelerating, put that as 1. Your change of direction, and then obviously your gotta get in the gym. Like, it's hard to specifically say like specific exercises because there's so many that they need.
Yeah.
But if I would say for a footballer, your fitness, speed, change of direction, and get yourself in the gym. Like, can't really go wrong with that.
All right. So you're a Tottenham fan. We all know this.
Oh, for crying out.
Like, which young up and coming Tottenham player is there out there that you, at the moment, that you think this one's going to be a star? Even if he doesn't make it into the first team, but he goes somewhere else, but he's going to be a star.
Obviously, I train Dane, and I think Dane has got everything to make it at a very high level. But I feel like Tottenham have got some young players. Young Mikey Moore, he's I think he's just turned 17. I think he's got a bright future. Whether he becomes a Tottenham great or whether he goes to another club, but he's going to have a decent career.
Second name 100%. Like Moore, mate. He knows where it comes,
yeah. And of the ones that like I know personally, I'd say them two.
Yeah.
But they've got a crop of young boys that I think are going to do very well, man.
Okay.
Very well.
I remember we had a conversation a long time ago about the academy there. What is it cut out how it's meant to be, or is it a bit cutthroat?
I think with them academies is you got to look at the pathway.
Yeah.
So I feel at Tottenham it's like how many, when you look at other clubs like at a specific time, especially when Lampard was there, how many academy graduates played in the first team? When you look at a Tottenham, I mean, a little bit more now with Mikey Moore, but the pathway is hard. And I think they're beginning to do it a little bit more, getting younger academy boys with the first team, getting on the bench, but I feel like the pathway there is difficult. Where if you go to other clubs that are known for giving youngsters a chance, I'd just say that. Yeah. Obviously, my son was there, so no hard feelings or nothing. But I think it's as a young baller, I feel you got to look at the pathway. It's great to be at one of these massive Cat 1 clubs, but are you going to play first team football? So,
so your advice would be like go out and find these smaller teams like Ipswich or Colchesters or your Lutons. Maybe go
find somewhere where the pathway is a little better. Yeah. And if you're good enough and you're playing first team, play the long game. Yeah. Like if you're good enough and you're playing, a lesser team, but you're 17, 18, you're playing first team football week in, week out, you'll get there.
Yeah.
They'll come and find you.
Oh, mate.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think people get wrapped up in, I need to be at these top 4 Cat 1 clubs. But are you going to play in the first team? Which essentially, that's what it's about.
Well, look at Jamie Vardy, and look at Mikel Antonio. And players like that.
These guys, look at, the prime flipping example is, what's his name? Just gone out to Saudi.
Oh, what? Ivan Toney?
Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
He's gone from playing lower leagues to being on 400k a week.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's money, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? He wasn't at a Cat 1 academy trying to break into the first team. He was Peterborough, non-league before that. Now look where he is. So a lot of these kids, I think, best advice to them is play the long game. Like, believe in your ability, and if you're good enough, you will get there.
Yeah. Even when he was at Brentford, he didn't really get a call from the top 4 teams, which is...
Well, it was always in that mix, wasn't he? Like, and I don't get it how West Ham let an opportunity like that slide. Because let's face it, Ivan Toney, especially in that last international competition, when he would come on the pitch...
Make a change immediately.
Made a change. Yeah. And he just energy. And, and let's face it, West Ham love a and he's got that in him to be a bit of a
100%.
I'd have loved. Listen, Ivan, if you're listening, mate, drop the money. He'd be adored. He'd be adored.
He would be, but I mean, it's you got to put yourself. You got to put yourself in that position. If you've proved yourself in the Prem, scoring goals, you've gone to a major tournament, you've made a massive impact, and none of the top 4 clubs have come in for you, and then Saudi have offered you 400 grand a week.
Gotta go.
Do you lose your ability though in that league? Like, say, I don't know if I can't speak on behalf of them because the money's amazing and all that.
Yeah.
But surely you're going in the back of your head, I do want to come back to the Prem eventually. Are you going to lose some form of fitness playing in those leagues because it's not as competitive, or is it still going to be up there?
I don't think it's going to be a competitive, but what I know of Ivan, he's very much, works away from, does his own stuff as well. So he's very much on it, gym, like running, like he's very much, but, you're talking money that's, that's generational money.
Yeah.
Your kids are nice. Their kids, if you do the right thing, are nice. I think he's looked at that and been like, football's great. I love football. But this is generational. This is
money talks, man.
It's so hard to turn down, man. So hard to turn down. And I think I do feel if one of them top 4 clubs come in for him, he would have stayed there.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, doing what he's done at Brentford and then going to England, having a great tournament, and none of these clubs have come in for his fault. I'm obviously not rated as highly as I'm out of it.
Yeah. I don't know how Tottenham never come in for him. I thought it would have suited him down to a T.
I was begging to go and grab him, but no. So, can't knock him, man. I'm happy for him. I put myself in that position, I'm doing the same thing. See you later, I'm out of it.
All day.
I'll spend the whole 3 years as well. No problem.
No problem.
Only thing is, they don't like drinking, do they? So
mate.
Never mind. We're coming to the end now, Mark. I just wanted to ask you a question. Like, what advice would you give to a young coach trying to break through, or even a coach who has had a career, didn't realise they wanted to be a coach, and now is falling into that? What advice would you give them?
I mean, one of the things that kind of broke me into what I'm now doing, and I'll never forget the moment. It was so at the time I was training just your Joe Blogs, your woman that wants getting married, wants to fit in a dress. But then at the time I knew this is like, nah, I want more than this. Do you know what I mean? But I was very kind of like humble, never really put myself out there. I'll never forget there was a group of MMA fighters down at Lee Valley just doing a session. And, they was doing all right stuff, but I looked at them and I thought, nah, you could be doing way much better stuff than what you're doing here. And I thought to myself, this is something I'd never do. Put myself out there, and I approached them. And I said, look, my name's so-and-so, this is what I do. Gave him my card. And I said, like, if you need some help with your camp, give me a shout. And so the advice I'd give to someone, you got to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I think it's a bit different now with social media. It's almost you can do it from the palm of your hand. But putting yourself out there, and people need to know what you do.
Yeah.
If people don't know what you do, no one's going to come to you. But that moment of putting myself out there and approaching them guys changed the direction of my career, because they all ended up coming and training with me. And I changed people for Cage Warriors, Bellator, and then from there, that same guy was friends with Colin Kazim Richards, and then Colin saw the shape I got him in for his fight and was like, yo, who you been working with? Well, you look good, man. So then he gave me his number. So then I'm working with Colin. I've gone to America. I'm out there with Colin, and Liam Best is there. J.R. Smith from the Knicks is there. Ryan Bircham from Southampton's there. These guys are all training with me.
Wow.
But that doesn't happen if I didn't come out of my comfort zone and put myself out there.
Yeah.
So my main piece of advice is someone getting into coaching is get yourself out there as best way you can. Whether that's websites, socials, approaching people. If you see footballers, don't be scared to go and talk to them. You got to put yourself out there. People need to know what you do.
Yeah. Well, you heard it. Any coaches listening, listen, Mark, thanks so much for coming
Pleasure.
in. Yeah, anytime you want to come around, watch a game. I mean, Tottenham Spurs, West Ham, Tottenham, I mean. Listen, everybody, that's the Champ and Contender over and
Appreciate
out. Listen,
lovely.
That's the bar closed. That's Mark Findlay. My name's Joseph J. Jones.
My name's Fabian Collymore.
And we're out. Thank you very much.
Peace. Lovely, boys. Enjoyed that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was brilliant.
That was
brilliant.
cool.
That was questions.